let's just start off with a quick intro of myself and my co-presenter. So I am Erin, COO of Listing Mirror, and also co-founder. So I kind of do a little bit of everything, and running these webinars is one of the favorite parts of my job and of my month every month. So, and then I also have Matt with me here.
Hi.
And Matt is our, if you want to just move forward one slide, Matt.
I totally knew it.
Matt
I'm
is
on
our
it.
senior tech secret specialist. And he is probably someone that you've run into if you are a Listing Mirror user, someone that we rely on a ton for all things Listing Mirror, just knowing all the little intricate details. And so he is an incredible resource. And that kind of brings me to my next point. Which is if you have questions. Oh, let's go over this. Okay, cool. We're very excited to add an additional component to our webinar, which is incentivizing our polls. So our amazing marketing guy, his name is Joe. He and our product designer, Lindy, put together some polls. A lot of thought went into these. Basically, we want to get more feedback from our audience, and that is incredibly challenging to do. And so what we've decided is let's throw some money at it. So here's what we're going to do today. And if this goes well, we'll keep doing it. Today, what we're going to do is offer a $50 gift card to one of you. So the way that you're entered is you answer, I believe that there are 8 to 10 poll questions. Let me see them. Oh, you know what? Hang on, guys. Got to add the polls. All right. So I'm going to work on adding these now, and there are 10 poll questions. What we are going to do is that if you answer at least 5 of them, you will get 1 entry. If you answer all 10 of them, then you will get a second entry to win the gift card. And a little birdie told me that we also could offer this in the form of account credit if you are a Listing Mirror user right now, and perhaps even bigger than the $50 incentive. So it's definitely worth answering these. We want to get some feedback from you. I'm trying to talk and click buttons at the same
really
time.
Impressive,
okay, cool. So all of the polls are there. We look forward to seeing your responses, and do your best to answer them as accurately as you can, because that is how they become useful. And we definitely rely on your feedback to make sure that the tools that we have available to you are useful for our users and for people who want to use Listing Mirror too. So we look forward to seeing your responses, and we look forward to doing stuff with the responses that you're giving us. So my other reminder, which was going to be my segue, is about our chat feature. So please use the chat feature when you guys interact with each other. I'm sure you guys have been to other webinars, especially having lived through a pandemic. We've been to other webinars. We know what this is like. Webinars are way more valuable if you interact with them and if you stay engaged. So interacting with each other, and also asking any questions that you might have along the way. We will do our best to answer as many questions as we can, just depending on our time at the end. And yes, let us all get as much out of this as we can to make it as valuable as possible. Also, thank you to all of our partners who are here as well. I know we have some people from other partnerships, and so we're happy to have all of you here today. Okay, so we are going to break up. Matt, if you don't mind just going back to that agenda. So we're going to break up there we go. We're going to break up our format in kind of 3 steps. So we're going to talk about basic inventory handling, which is going to be, anything that most people would be doing. Then we're going to talk about advanced inventory handling. So what are other things that you could be doing that you may not be doing right now? Or what are things that you may be doing with a different tool that you could instead do with Listing Mirror or automate with our tools? And then the last thing is, what happens when something goes wrong? What do we suggest for approaching that, and what are kind of our best practices when it comes to that? And then we'll leave some time for Q&A at the end. All right, so here we go. So I added a bunch of, and Matt has as well, added a bunch of these little videos, GIFs that are going to keep scrolling. Yes, that will keep playing as we talk. Most of them are about helping you navigate to the page and then maybe just showing you a few actions. So on this page, we're looking at the main inventory page. One thing that you may notice as you watch this video and also as you use the software is that sometimes there's a little discrepancy between certain pages as opposed to others. So the headers might look a little bit different, things like that. So we are in the process of doing a major overhaul of the way that our site looks. And what we're doing is we are branding new pages as we recreate them. So that's why some of them look a little bit different than others. They do function fairly similarly, but that is why you may see that the difference between those two pages. What you're looking at here is me just individually adding quantity to listings. So this is, oh, maybe I found like another box in my warehouse I didn't know I had. So I'm going to go right in here. I'm going to search for the SKU, and then I'm going to update that inventory. You can either use the up and down arrows, or you can just clear it out and put in a new number. The next way that you can do this is in bulk. So if you can just go to the next screen, Matt, we can just show these kind of people how else they can do this. So if you are doing a lot of inventory at once, say you had a new shipment come in, or you're, opening or starting a different product line or something like that, it may make way more sense for you to just upload everything from a spreadsheet. So in that case, you're going to go to the listing dropdown, select the bulk edit templates page. I believe that's what it's called. And we have created all of these templated pages. One of them is specifically for quantity updates. When you download that quantity update spreadsheet, you will see the SKU, the title, and then each of your warehouses. And just a quick note, never remove the second sheet, which is called the lookup sheet. Never remove that sheet. Never take out the headers. So like line 1 on all of our spreadsheets is a code that we need in order for us to receive your inventory back into our system. So make sure that you never remove that. Also, if you're using a formula of any kind, you want to make sure that you switch those formulas over to values before you upload the sheet. Those things will help you prevent things from erroring out and not working. So hopefully that is helpful to you. Let's move on to the next slide. Cool. So I mentioned that you can have multiple warehouses set up, and you might notice in my own account that I'm showing here, I have a few different types of warehouses. So with the majority of our subscription levels, you are able to add additional inventory sources. So what this little video is showing you is navigating to the Show Inventory Sources page and then adding a new inventory source. The other thing that you can do is you can go in and you can update the names of the existing inventory sources as well. I recommend doing this if you are not familiar. So every Listing Mirror account automatically gets an MF inventory source, which is merchant fulfilled, and then you get one FBA inventory source per Amazon connection that you have inside of Listing Mirror. So if you have an Amazon US, Amazon Canada, Amazon UK, all of those different type of Amazon accounts are all the different countries, you'll get an FBA inventory source for each of those. So you could, for instance, go in and you could rename it to FBA UK or Amazon UK, Amazon US, however you'd like to do that. I find that can be often very helpful for kind of personalizing it for your specific business. Also, as you grow and you add more staff, it can be really helpful to not have to teach them what all these little things mean if you can just use a term that you're more familiar with.
Renaming is always nice.
Yeah. Okay, so we have a couple amazing partnerships, and one of them is with Amazon. So it's interesting to me, even though I've been in this business for a while now, and a lot of people come to Listing Mirror specifically because they want to use this MCF feature. So MCF is short for multi-channel fulfillment, and it is essentially how Amazon fills your non-Amazon orders with the inventory that you have sitting in your Amazon warehouse. So I mentioned this specifically because I still have clients who want to sell on other channels, but they don't have their own warehouse, and they don't know how they're going to expand their network because they don't have the overhead to be able to. I'm sorry, maybe they don't have the resources to be able to, open their own warehouse or whatever their circumstances might be, and they don't know about this option. So, just so you know, Amazon has a program called Amazon MCF, and you can fill your non-Amazon orders with your Amazon inventory. We'll get into this a little bit more in the future, and this works for most channels. So it's really great for channels. When I say channels, I mean marketplaces. So marketplaces like any web store, so Shopify, WooCommerce, BigCommerce, Magento, whatever your store is on. It also works well for Etsy, a couple others. And it is a great tool that I want you to know that you have at your disposal. The other option is Deliver. So Deliver is, as you can see here, they're recently acquired by Shopify, and thank you to the Deliver team for helping us put this slide together. And they are another option for getting your orders filled. So there are lots of pros and cons to all of these types of businesses, but Deliver has a lot of advantages as well, allowing you to be able to sell on other marketplaces. The one I think of specifically is Walmart. So this often is a lower risk way to sell your products on Walmart as opposed to shipping them from an MCF warehouse. Won't get into the weeds there, but if you are looking for another option and you are not aware of Deliver, here's another really great warehousing solution. They have warehouses across the country, maybe even worldwide at this point. I don't actually know. That allow you to be able to fill your orders quickly, on time, making sure that your seller metrics are high and that your customers stay happy, and lots of other amazing things. So this is another great option for you as well. And we can move forward. Sweet. So this is about editing your inventory sources. So once you have, let's just kind of go through play by play. So you've created a listing mirror account. You're still getting it set up. You see that there's one MF and you see that there's one FBA connection. You actually have two merchant fulfilled inventory sources because you have a West Coast and an East Coast warehouse. So you go in, you add your East Coast warehouse, and then you rename your merchant fulfilled, your MF inventory source to West Coast. And then on this page, this is inside of your integration settings. So on the integrations tab at the very top, you're going to select channel integrations, then you're going to go into edit for a specific channel. While you're editing the specific channel, you'll see a tab that's called inventory. On that inventory tab, that's where you'll select the inventory sources that you want enabled for that specific channel. So for example, maybe for your eBay channel, you want to select both your merchant fulfilled and your FBA warehouse. So in that case, you would make sure that both of them are on that enabled list. And then you get to select, well, what priority do I want to list my products in? So you could say, I always want my listings to ship with my merchant fulfilled inventory first. And then if I don't have it in my own warehouse, then I want Amazon to fill it with my FBA inventory. You could select it like that, or you could flip flop them and say, I don't want to worry about any of the inventory myself. I want Amazon to fill all of these orders. And then alternatively, if Amazon doesn't have it in stock, then I will fill those orders myself. So you can set up those priorities. The other thing that you can do from this inventory page is you can set a max quantity per channel. So another eBay example would be if you're selling on eBay and you have a limit on the dollar amount or the number of listings that you can have on eBay. That's fairly common for new eBay channels or new eBay accounts. You can set a max quantity per product. So that just tells us I only want to list 2 of these at a time. So if you have 10 in stock, we only display 2, and then we reduce that inventory over time. Alternatively, you can set a holdback quantity that says, if I get down to the number 2 or 5 or, however many you decide on, I want to actually just remove that quantity from the channel. So if in actuality you have 10 in stock of a product, but it's something that sells really quickly, you may want to set a holdback quantity for that product. You can also do it at the product level, if I should mention that here. To say that to do a holdback quantity of 2, and then we would only show 8, for instance. So you can use these on each channel, or as I mentioned, you can also do this at the SKU level. Again, just some customization, just some options for you to be able to make sure that the inventory that you're showing on a particular channel is something that you can commit to filling, and also is as accurate as possible.
I'm gonna double check. I know max quantity is on the SKU level. I don't know if holdback quantity is, so I'm double checking that right now. Because I want to say
that would
it's
be a good
not.
check.
So it's not. So just the max quantities on the listed level.
Okay, just
Or
max
SKU level.
quantity. Okay. While you were looking that up, I am also going to share. I'm going to share a link to our Deliver landing page, Listing Mirrors Deliver page, so that if you're not already connected to Deliver and you want to look and you want to see more, you can go to that page. You can also look up in their help documentation, I'm sure, in their knowledge base, to find out how to create that integration. Once you do get to the point where you have stuff sitting in Deliver warehouses and you need to get that connected to Listing Mirror. Also, I'll just tell you from personal experience, their team is great and we work very closely with them. So if you do run into any problems, it's quite easy for us to say, hey guys, this client specifically isn't able to fill these orders and we can't figure out why. Inventory isn't showing, or whatever that looks like, and get problems solved really quickly that way. So we really like working with their team. Okay, so only max quantity.
Only max quantity.
So cross out what I said earlier and just remember max quantity can be assigned per listing, but not holdback quantity.
We do.
Okay, Matt, do you want to take over for advanced?
I totally will. I'll do some talking.
Okay.
So this is the more advanced inventory side of things. So we'll start with kitting and bundling. I'll touch on some of these. I'm not going to go into super detail for each one of these, but it's more just kind of like making you guys aware, and then we can kind of go from there. So for kitting and bundling, so there are clients that have, well, I guess in this particular instance that the GIF is showing, I sell a green medium shirt, and then I sell a 2-pack of that green medium shirt. So I need to tie them together because I, in my warehouse, have just a single shirt. I don't have 2 packs laying around. It's all a bunch of single shirts. So they're all pulling from the same inventory. So when I sell a 2-pack, I want that inventory to be reduced by 2 and notify the single packs that, hey, there's 2 less available. So in this case, you're going to want to convert it to a kit. So you can see on this GIF below, on the inventory tab, just to the left of each SKU, there's a little book icon. Clicking on that will allow it to convert it to a kit, because usually a product listing holds its own inventory. But in this case, I don't want the product listing to hold inventory. I want it to point to a component that holds the inventory. In this case, just called green shirts. So you start off with the base. So I sell 1 each time. So this is a 1 unit per kit. For the 2-pack, I point it to that exact same component. I just called it green shirt in this case, but you can name it the same SKU, whatever you feel like. Then I put 2 units per kit. And then you can see when I adjust the inventory of 1, it adjusts it across. And something to note, I think this does confuse some clients of ours. We show the total component quantity. Even if the recipe is like a ×2 or ×5, we'll still show the component. And so if you want to know how much of that particular SKU, you got to do some quick mental math. Or if you go onto the listings page, we'll show how much quantity we are syncing out to the marketplace. I think that does trip up a lot of people. We show the component quantity. We don't show the calculated inventory. Excuse me. But yeah, that helps a lot of people because there are... Otherwise, you would have to manually change it each time. When like a 2-pack sold, I'd have to go in, okay, change the SKU or the quantity for the individual SKU. In this case, it just constantly is made aware. So when a 2-pack sells, it reduces 2 from the component SKU, and then all product listings pointing to that component SKU will be aware of that quantity change. And 4 minutes, sync out the new quantity. Let's see, boom, purchase ordering and forecasting. So we did a previous webinar on this, and I definitely recommend checking out. It should be on YouTube, but we go into way more. Oh, perfect. So we go into way more detail about this particular aspect of Listing Mirror, but this just allows you to purchase and order inventory based on some internal algorithms that we have that's based on previous sales, incoming inventory, and also current inventory on hand. So we can take those numbers, calculate, hey, you sold this many over this amount of time, and you currently have this many, so this is how much you should order to continue keeping above, zero quantity, if that's something you're trying to constantly have inventory for. Useful for those who order a particular item from vendors and whatnot. Maybe not for your like out of the garage seller, but it's definitely useful. So for future dated inventory, the next topic here, this one's specific to Amazon. So basically, it just allows for pre-orders in Amazon. So you go at the top, inventory, click future dated inventory, add new item, then you're choosing your listing. In this case, I just picked out a SKU, the inventory source, it'll be MF in this case. And I'm just putting how much quantity I'm going to have and when I'm going to have it. In this case, it's going to be in stock November 1st. So this allows Amazon buyers to pre-order this item, and on November 1st, the expectation is all the pre-orders will be shipped out that day, and then the rest of the quantity. If we were to stay on this webinar for the next 13 days, we'll see on the November 1st, 20 quantity will be added to that SKU. We'll just add it right to the inventory source. Very convenient, like. Past few.
I have a question.
Yes.
Can you, for advanced or for future dated
Mhm.
inventory, can you also say that you're like, would you use this like if you're sending a product into an Amazon warehouse? Would you add it like? Would you use it like
No, I wouldn't use it like that. I would use it if like if you want
if you know that
if you
something's
know
coming?
something's coming, you just ordered it from your vendor or whatever, 100 quantities incoming, and you want to start get some pre-sales rolling. Because some items just definitely benefit from just being able to pre-order in certain cases. Other cases,
Yeah.
it's who pre-orders toilet paper, right? But like video games or movies or in particular things that have a set release date, this allows buyers to pre-purchase ahead of time, and you just fulfill the orders on that stock date.
And it looks like you can also edit those. So like if the date changed, shipping delay
Yep,
or something, it looks like you can go and edit the
I believe
date
you
as
can
well.
indeed post and yeah,
Okay.
yep.
Cool.
Sku Vault. So this is one of the integrations that we have with Sku Vault. They manage inventory, of course. So it's usually for those who have a larger warehouse and they have a just kind of a wider variety of things to keep track of. And Sku Vault just internally does this for you. So you would connect to Listing Mirror, and basically Listing Mirror pulls the inventory from Sku Vault set on a date. There would be an integrations page. There's a bunch of different settings to go through. But basically, you set it up and like how often is Listing Mirror pulling from Sku Vault? And so we take the inventory from Sku Vault, it flows into Listing Mirror, and then Listing Mirror sends that out to the marketplaces. So we can combine inventory sources. So this is something like Listing Mirror specializes in, and we can use your Sku Vault inventory, your Deliver, your FBA, and say like your own personal warehouse if you have that kind of thing. We can combine all 4 inventory sources and send them out to the marketplaces. And then on incoming, we would go off that inventory sort order like we showed a few slides ago. Definitely useful. If I think it's more people like who come with like I already have a Sku Vault integration. Let's add it to Listing Mirror, and we just have that capability.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Listing Mirror is going to have a lot more capabilities in terms of the actual listing process. So actually getting listing data from one inventory source, or one listing source. So one marketplace to another marketplace. We have very strong capabilities in that realm where we don't even have a warehouse management system. So if you are in a position where you need something like that, I know Matt has even done calls with a Sku Vault representative and whoever the
Yep.
Listing Mirror user is in order to make sure that things are set up properly
Yeah,
and syncing
definitely a thing.
properly. Yeah, so it is definitely a useful tool. And if you yourself are someone who is already using Sku Vault and you don't have it connected to Listing Mirror, well, now you know that you can, and you can kind of see some of the advantages here as well. I don't think you mentioned the eBay and Etsy listing creation, but when you create a listing on either of those marketplaces, you have to have a quantity attached to it. So you cannot create either of those
Right.
either of
Mm-hmm.
those places. You can't create a listing with zero quantity.
Mm-hmm.
So what this enables you to do is be able to sync the accurate inventory right away versus waiting for Sku Vault to connect to the marketplace and update it with whatever the actual inventory, or actually whatever the quantity on hand actually
Yeah,
is.
the
So
difference between Sku Vault integrating direct with the marketplace and then Sku Vault integrating through us, it just gets inventory accurate more quickly on eBay and Etsy because they require inventory to create. Other marketplaces, they don't care. You just create a listing with zero. Etsy and eBay, though, you have to use inventory to create listings. Kind of a
right,
limitation.
absolutely.
Uh,
I've seen our audience numbers jump around a little bit. So, in case you missed what I said at the very beginning, just wanted to remind you that we do have some polls. If you answer at least 5 of the poll questions, you will be entered one time into our drawing for a $50 Amazon gift card. If you answer all 10 of our poll questions, you will be entered twice. And if you are a listing your user, there is a potential of being able to convert that into credit toward your listing mirror subscription cost as well.
pretty
So
cool.
keep that in
Fill them
mind.
polls. Okay, and I think. Oh no, there's like 2 more topics left. Bam, inventory history. So this is more of a troubleshooting aspect of listing mirror. I think it's really powerful. So it's basically just a breakdown of every single inventory change that's happened to a particular SKU. So in this case, I'm looking at SKU shirt dash cream dash large, and I can see every instance of why it changed. To to find it, you go to list inventory at the top, click on inventory history. Hey, look at that, bam, right there. You search, whatever the LM SKU in particular that you're looking for, and this just breaks it down. So you got time on the left, so when it happened. In the middle, you have your inventory sources, so which inventory change, the reason, like why, and then the details, usually the user of who did it, if it's like an inventory change. But we would also show things like FBA inventory syncing, Sku Vault inventory syncing. If you have an FTP connected to listing area, we would show that. It's a really great issue of like, hey, my SKU ABC oversold. Why? This is a great starting place because this is going to show your breakdown. And like, hey, it looks like so and so added inventory yesterday, last night, so that's why it sold this morning, kind of deal. I think it's great. I think it's an awesome
And
aspect of listing area. It's like it's incredibly accurate.
yeah,
Baseball.
absolutely. So we have a lot of additional things at our disposal, additional like troubleshooting options at our disposal as like listing your super users slash admins. But this is actually how we start troubleshooting any
Yep.
inventory issues. We go to this page first. So, so sometimes it's not even, we can look at this and know right away. So if you know this yourself, you can find out the answer much quicker, which is probably what you want instead of waiting a couple of minutes or a couple hours, just depending on our workload and where we're at to get an answer.
Nice.
So that's a great place to
It's
start.
just
And if you don't understand what the reason is or something like that, we're always happy to answer that question for you.
Yeah, and
So
on that note, yeah, definitely. There's always a reason for inventory issues. So if you're ever encountering something and inventory history doesn't make any sense, or just you can't make head or tails, but please contact us. Inventory issues of all things are usually pretty cut and dry. We have, in addition to the inventory history, like Aaron said, we have logs that are constantly showing all changes within listing mirror. So we will find out why something oversold if a SKU oversold for sure. So usually, like 95% of the time, there's a very specific reason of why the thing happened. And so, yeah, if you ever have any
mhm.
troubles, just go click on that contact us bubble at the bottom right hand page when you're logged in a listing mirror, or no, it's quick help. That's what it's called. And we'll help you out.
Yep.
Because, we're here all the time. It's like what we do.
Yep.
It's like exactly what I do.
Yeah. So that's exactly what Matt's
It's,
job
it's what
is.
I'm here.
And he really loves troubleshooting complicated inventory issues. So I'm
Good
not sure
stuff.
how someone can enjoy that so much, but he really does.
Numbers are
So
fun.
it's definitely worth throwing your big conundrums his way, and he can help you sort through them. The other thing too is that I think it's probably just good to mention that yes, there are going to be instances where we're going to say, you oversold because these things sold really quickly and there was really nothing that we could do about
That's true.
it. But
That's the thing.
we're always interested in knowing if something oversold, because all of that helps inform our
Yep,
process and how we build our product, right?
100%.
So if over time we notice, like, a lot of people are overselling in this specific instance, if we know that and it's happening often, then we can take that information and we can make our product better because of it. So it's always worth letting us know if ever you're in that position.
Yep,
So
definitely.
we only have one question in here so far, so hopefully we have some more questions.
Easy peas.
And in the meantime, we will answer Michael's question here. So, I refer to inventory history often. Is there any way to integrate an easier way to get a SKU's history, like clicking the SKU from the inventory or the listings
Mm,
page? Oh, no, that's an interesting
that could be a
idea.
hot idea.
Well, I assume that our product designer is here, so
Hey, are you listening?
um, she's not. We'll make sure that she gets this
Yeah, that's pretty good.
this
Yeah, it's like
idea.
quick, like yeah, just
Yeah,
like
it's a good one.
hyperlinks and just like yeah, just auto searches what the inventory history is. Pretty good.
Yes.
I like the thought of that.
Okay, yes. Lindy responded here. She said that she will definitely account for this
Excellent.
request when we redesign that page, which is coming, because obviously it needs a little bit of an update. So, um, from Levon, we have a question. Is there any way to link wrong SKU to correct SKU in bulk or as bulk? But I'm assuming so. Yes,
Hmm.
this is a good question, and that's actually quite an important part about inventory. Syncing accurate inventory is you need to make sure that
True.
all of your listings that need that inventory, so that they're all under one product inside of Listing
Hmm.
Mirror. So, yeah, Matt, do you want to
Yes,
talk on
I
that, or do
would
you want me to?
totally love to. So we usually will do
Okay.
this for you if your SKUs are the same across marketplaces. Like say you're signing up for the first time and you have SKU ABC on Amazon, on Walmart, and eBay. When we import these listings, we will import, say Amazon's first. Sure, why not? We'll create a product listing using that SKU ABC, and then all future listings, when market listings import, we look, hey, is there a product listing with this SKU? There is. Cool. Link it up to it. If there's not, then create a new product listing. So if your SKUs match across marketplaces immediately, awesome. That works out crazy convenient. You don't really have to do much work. But I have definitely worked with clients that, have varying SKUs across the marketplaces. Sometimes, just when they're first starting out, or like they just, don't have an exact plan or taking over business from someone else. Your SKUs aren't consistent across marketplaces. When we import them, we're just creating new product listings, and of course your market listings get separated, so you need to link them to the same product listings so they share inventory and then data in some cases as well. So the bulk template you're looking for.
Uh-oh. It looks like we lost Matt. So hopefully he'll be back in a second. I will just pick up where he left off. So what you are looking for is
The link listings box tab. I'm like on the tab and I'm like, cool, let me just tab off. Oh, tight. No, that was the one I need.
okay.
um
You're back.
I am
That's
back. Yeah,
good.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you were just gonna you were just saying
Link
where to go for
listings.
that template for the linking
So if you
listings
click
template.
listings at the top and go to bulk edit templates. Oh, in fact, I could probably show it real quick on there is a bulk edit template called link listings. We try to be as straightforward with the naming as possible. So in this case, we just call it link listings. And so that template is going to just have, if I recall, first column is going to be your LM SKU / master SKU, and then the second column, I think, might have title, and then your columns after that will be the SKUs you want to link to it. Actually, it's just one column and you comma. So if you want to link like SKU ABC, if you want to have that product SKU also have eBay SKU ABC-E and Walmart ABC-W in that template, you would do in the second or third column ABC-E, comma, ABC-W, and that would link them to the LMSKU ABC. And if you have any troubles or it doesn't make sense or it fails, just please let us know. We'll help you out. The listing or the templates in Excel, it can be confusing sometimes.
Yep. But we can always, it's very easy for us to take a look at a template that you've uploaded. And we also get the same feedback about, why did it error out and things like that. So we can help you out with that pretty quickly. Those are fairly easy to troubleshoot and figure out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's nothing crazy.
Okay, so Vivian asks, can you clarify the eBay quantities? So I think probably, Vivian, what you're talking about is we mentioned that listings with zero quantity cannot be created on eBay. So an example of this would be, let's say from your Listing Mirror account, you just say, I want to create all eBay list or all of my Amazon listings. I want to take all of my listings, all my products, I guess is what I should say. So we've imported your catalog. You want to create all of your listings on another channel. Oh, wait, hang on. So control quantities so I can have more listings. Oh, okay. So this is a little bit different than what I was thinking, but I'm going to finish that thought because I felt like I didn't flesh it out super well. So I'm going to go through it again. So anyway, just say you create all of your listings on eBay, but a few of those listings do not have any quantity in stock. So in a case like that, we wouldn't actually be able to send the listing to eBay because there's no inventory in stock. We wouldn't send that listing until there's quantity in stock. Is that right, Matt?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
That is very correct.
So that is what I meant by that, or what we meant by that when we were talking about it earlier. You asked specifically, how can I control the quantity so I can have more listings or list more products? And yes, absolutely. So what you do is under your Matt, if you can just go back to that slide, actually, the one where we talked about max and holdback quantity.
Okay.
Yes. So from this page, so what you do is from the drop down at the top, you go to integrations, manage integrations. And then if you click on the title of whatever channel you're working with, you're going to go into these settings from this page that you're looking at right here. So integration settings. If you scroll down just a bit, that's where you see max quantity. So that is where you would set the max quantity per product. So that would just say, if I actually have 10 in stock, I just want to list 2 at a time. As you sell them, we will replenish the quantity until you actually fall below that threshold. So as long as there's quantity in stock, then we will continue listing that product with that available quantity, even as orders come in. Okay, is there any update on sending out low inventory email alerts when a SKU reaches quantity 1 or 0? Yes, that is coming. I don't know the timing on it exactly, but for sure it's in the near future. Our first part of that process was creating the low inventory report, or I forget exactly what it's called. Maybe Matt remembers. But anyway, for us,
low stock alert.
Low stock.
Yeah,
so the first step was getting that data out to you in the interface. And then the second step of that is going to be then creating email notifications, not just for that, but for all types of different alerts. So we're excited to start working on those things. It's kind of a huge process because we want to make sure that we roll it out in such a way that it's useful for as many users as possible. And every single business, you may think the way that you run your business is how everyone does it, but we have a lot of you, and we can tell you most of you
That's true.
your business is like anyone else. So, so it'll just, it's coming. We just want to make sure that we do it in a way that's useful for all different types of sellers with different workflows.
For sure.
Any other questions that we have from you guys? We must have really rattled off all of this content really quickly because I expected that we would already be at an hour.
I did too. So I guess we can talk fast.
I did notice some of it got very, very dense. So if you need to rewatch this, next week, or if you have coworkers that may benefit from watching through some of this information, the YouTube link will be up very soon, and I believe you also get like a link sent out from Demio as well as soon as we've concluded the webinar and all of that, but it should be online. It'll at the very least show up on YouTube, and I'm sure that Joe from Listing Mirror will send you guys an email as well. Okay, so Levon says in our eBay channel, we have out of stock control. So listings will not be ended if stock is 0. This is, I believe that this is just a central, um, like offering or a normal feature for listing me, I guess I should say, is that when something goes out of stock, we don't end the listing. I think that is standard for how we list products. So that a listing just shows out of stock. And then as soon as you get quantity back in stock, then we would just replenish the existing listing so that you keep your sales history and also your reviews and things like that, so that we're not actually ending the listing. And then the same thing for, I believe a listing has to be renewed every month or so. And so we also handle that for you automatically as well, where as long as there's quantity in stock, or as long as the product still exists on the listing your side, you will then be able to continue that listing. As soon as you add stock again, it'll still have all of the information.
Yeah, so, definitely should.
Yeah.
It better.
Right. Okay. We definitely could answer a couple more questions if anything comes in, but let's move on to just telling you a couple of offerings of Listing Mirror, just to make you aware of different ways that we want to support you. So the first way is a little bit of my role. A part of my role is being able to support you in your businesses as you are growing. So if there's anything that I can do to lend a hand, if that is, I've added more staff and my staff needs to know how to use Listing Mirror, I can offer software training. I can also help you just with troubleshooting business things. So anytime I know I have some other call, I have another call a little bit later this afternoon to talk to somebody about a specific connection that they need with Listing Mirror, because I know everyone is trying to sort out their business, the different softwares that you're using and all those kind of things. I'm happy to have those conversations with you, even if the answer is just, I can't help you. I can hopefully help you someone who can. And, best case scenario, I can show you how you can do that exact same thing with Listing Mirror. But yeah, I'm always open to those kind of conversations. Also just helping you strategize, maybe what to do next, what channel to add integrations to, things like that. I'm happy to have any of those kind of conversations, and I really enjoy them. So I know that we work with a lot of business owners and a lot of e-commerce managers. And so, I'm always happy as another business owner to kind of have those conversations with you and see how we can help. On the other side of that, we have Matt and the rest of our support team. They're an incredibly valuable resource. So Listing Mirror has a team of full-time support workers that work together to make sure that all of our clients are being well served. If you ever feel like the service that you're getting is not really the service that you would expect, then there's probably miscommunication or something like that, and we can talk about it. But by and large, we hope that you will take full advantage of the support team that we have. They're here to answer your questions, to make sure that your businesses are running well, and to make sure that anything that you run into, we can take a look at and either submit a bug fix, so saying, okay, something actually is wrong with the software here, or provide a feature request to our team so that we can make the product better for you. And we do really care a lot about that. So staying in touch with us is a really great way for us to know what you guys need, and kind of, as the market shifts and grows itself, just to make sure that we are that we're on track. You guys help us keep a pulse on what's happening in e-commerce, and it's a really important part of the business that we are growing here. So the best way to get in touch is to click on that quick help button in the bottom right hand of your screen. Matt showed that a little bit earlier in a little video, or the little GIF that he had up. Or you can just go to support.listingmirror.com. Whether you're a client or not, you can always just submit a request through there, and we will make sure that you get an answer. Just want to make sure that everyone saw Lindy's response about the low stock report. So Lindy says we do have a low stock widget on our dashboard that shows you all SKUs that went to quantity 0 in the last 24 hours per warehouse. This could be a useful tool in the interim while we implement the email alerts. And yes, thanks for mentioning that, Lindy, because I wasn't speaking very clearly about that. So the low stock widget on the dashboard, which is now the screen that you are immediately taken to when you log into your account, that's where you can see the low stock notifications to let you know what things are running out of stock. So, Matt, anything else that you wanted to add? I'm not seeing any other questions come in, so I think we can wrap it up.
I don't think so. I think we covered all the inventory stuff.
Okay.
Or, much as we can in one setting.
So thank you all so much for being here today, for engaging with us. We always, like I said, we love doing these, and we'll be back next month with another one. If you ever have any ideas for topics that you'd like us to cover, we would be happy to consider them. And we'll do one next month, and then I think we're going to take a break for December because I know most people are working pretty hard just trying to keep up with the holiday rush at that point. So we will see you next month, and thanks so much for being here today.
Bye, y'all.